They're young. They've been shorthanded with injuries. They've played one of the toughest schedules in the country. But Amanda, they're going to be just fine. What an over by Eliza Villar, the setter for NC State. Big swing by Mimi Mambu of Georgia Tech. Another good dig, Sophia Velez. And the Yellow Jackets take the first point. If that's a harbinger of what we're going to see this afternoon between these two sides, really quality sign. High-level volleyball today.
The longer the rally, the better for both of these sides. That's something that Coach Megan Wargo-Kearney has told us before, too. We want to be the team that you don't want to face because we're so gritty.
Deep serve. And NC State's first point. Georgia Tech played just 8 players. That's all they needed in a 3-set sweep on Friday night against Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. They were so efficient, season low in attack errors. They hit 424 as a team. See if they come out with that kind of offense here this afternoon. Jordan Smith draws the start on the right side. Unforced error basically on this set. Eloise Suarez, a tremendous center for Georgia Tech, had to run a long way for that pass.
She tried to still use her touch instead of trying to bump set that, but fortunately comes off the fingertips.
We've got a challenge here. R2's Randy McLam today.
The original call is point to NC State. Georgia Tech is challenging a net.
All right, so you get the explanation from Mr. McLam. Randy McLam, the R2, Michael O'Connor, the R1, veteran officials for today's matchup. And it certainly wasn't the ball touching the net. Someone touched it.
That's Talia Francom.
After review, the call is reversed. There's a net on number 17.
The middle blocker, Talia Francom, getting a wrist on the net, coming down to try to close out that block.
So a good challenge for Coach Collier. It's the Yellow Jackets take an early lead. Bianca Garibaldi, the server. First swing for Courtney Bryant, who had a double-double in the win on Friday. Goes for variety with the tip this time. Bellars goes to her again. No touch.
Trying to get it up over those high hands. That's something that NC State works through a lot, is getting over the big block. A lot about placement rather than power.
Smith from the right side, rejected. Deandra Pierce in the middle for Georgia Tech.
That's Deandra Pierce, and then Amin Mambu, goes by Mimi Mambu, shutting down that edge of the pin. It's gonna be a big block to get through.
Pierce with a career best 8 blocks on Friday night, picking up right where she left off. She puts this one down. So it's defense and then offense from the one-time Texas player, won a national championship back in 2022 from Austin, but is now in her 3rd year in Atlanta with Georgia Tech. Tough pass. Yellow Jackets off to a fast start. NC State will call an early timeout.
We talk forever.
Signs. Georgia Tech done that all the time, and they've won the last 8 meetings. Although NC State has fared pretty well here in Raleigh and recent years. Of course, I don't know. I'm getting old. I feel like 2017 was not that long ago.
Well, it's interesting. Coach Collier said, this is the year people think that they can beat us, right? We're young and we've got some injuries and the uncontrollables that we've had to battle through. And we're kind of embracing that mindset of teams really think they have a chance. And that's kind of that aggressive mindset that we're seeing from Georgia Tech, just attacking each match.
And that dominance in the last 8 years, NC State's had some good teams, some NCAA tournament teams during that stretch as they were a season ago, but really speaks to just the level that Georgia Tech has been at. 5 straight NCAA tournament appearances and top 25 for a long time. In fact, out of the rankings right now. They fell out of the rankings in late September, but had been ranked for more than 90 consecutive weeks. But yes, they are a little more vulnerable this year, already taken on 8 losses. But as we said, I think they're going to be fine, even though they're injured, even though they're young, really talented, really well coached, and they have gotten off to a fine start here in the first set.
Yeah, hitting over 500 to be able to come out on a fast start, something that Coach Wargo-Kearney wanted to do on NC State's side.
Big swing from Bryant, but Suarez there with the stuff. All right, so here are the losses this year, and you mentioned it earlier. We talked about they had played one of the toughest schedules, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Georgia, their worst loss, and that's still a top 60 RPI team. NC State struggling to pass right here, and this Georgia Tech block is ready and waiting. It's a pinpoint pass from Vondren, but still the Yellow Jackets ready for it.
Mambu just closing down on the pin. We've seen back-to-back blocks now for Georgia Tech. They have been dominant, tracking, reading, and then getting their hands in position to shut down the play, not giving the Wolfpack a chance.
That tip does get over as Bryant takes a little something off. I mean, that prior play, Villar has all her options. They get a solo on the right side. That's everything you want. Just tip your cap to Mambu.
You know, Georgia Tech had 16 blocks against Wake Forest on Friday night. They were able to hold Wake Forest to a negative hitting percentage throughout most of that match. That's something, when you shut down an offense like that, it's really hard to dig back out. That's something Coach Wargo-Kearney told us about NC State. She's like, we're not really good at slowing teams down very much. That's why we want to try to start fast. Something that they weren't able to do on Friday. Clemson taking that first set, but then look what happened. They made the adjustments, took the next 3 on Friday.
And one of those adjustments was inserting Jordan Smith, who finished with 8 kills. On the slide, and that is a specialty of Deandra Pierce, going off of 1 foot and scoring, and the Yellow Jackets lead by 10, Amanda.
This is dominant right now. They are firing on all cylinders. A beautiful slide, really fooling the blockers. NC State unable to get there to get a touch.
Out of the back row, Laura Bialescu came in to serve with a nice dig and gets a back row attack out of it as well. Lily Cropper has some success. That's about all that's worked against the block is the tip.
Yep, trying to find your way through those hands and try to get them when they're not looking as far as coverage goes, because they're ready for the big shutdown play.
This time, NC State has an answer for Pierce. Rebecca Ring, a freshman outside with that swing. And an NC State stop on Feodorovich.
And we talked about this in the open for a reason. This is something that can really change NC State's tempo here when they can get up some big blocks. And that's an undersized setter right there in the front row, making something happen.
Feodorovich having to set. They get a decent attack out of it from Bialescu, and they score. Well, they've done a lot of that here in the first almost 20 points.
They've been able to run their offense pretty effectively, and then their defense is right there, able to track down the big shot from NC State.
Aloisi Suarez, physical at the net. Look at Suarez. Free ball. Can NC State capitalize? Fedorovich with the tip. Pushes into the deep corner. Lorna Kerr, defensive specialist there for NC State. Oh! Velez with the dig of the match! But NC State's block wins the point.
Velez, one of the anchors on this team for a reason, because she makes big plays like that. But this is NC State closing it out. Lily Cropper coming in, making a big impact right here in set one.
It does not get better than that dig. Oh, she almost did it again. But NC State starting to find its footing. They've got a big hill to climb here. Gone off to a tough start, but when this team is clicking on all cylinders, and they were in the second set against Clemson, I mean, they can be dominant. Right now, it's the Yellow Jackets just on another level. Noemi Despeño with the kill.
And she's been a big force for this Georgia Tech team. Noemi Despeño, the freshman, coming in because Larissa Mendez is out for Georgia Tech. One of their constant right sides, a leader for them, and Despeño stepping up.
Good dig by Fedorovich. Misses the cut here, does Despeño. Had 20 kills in late August against Ole Miss. But moving from left to right side. And as we talked about these teams being shorthanded, Mendez, the only player on either of these teams that was on the preseason All ACC team. So has not played in the month of October. That's a big loss. NC State in the net on the attack by Francom. You know what? Velez was still there. She's putting on a show here in the first set.
She's top 8 in the conference in total dig. She really covers her area, very disciplined in that base position. Great read as well.
NC State out of sorts, out of system. Velez a dig, but only momentarily.
Back row roll shot from Bryant. On the knees, Suarez with the set. And because she was on her knees setting that, she wasn't able to get back to try to dig up that ball. But good job by NC State to shut down the play.
Clara Vondren serving for the Wolfpack. Villar goes to the middle. It comes back over off of Suarez's shoulder, I believe. Another big time dig. And Mambu misses the roll. Well, NC State, it was early tips, firing some swings at Georgia Tech a year ago. And looking to spring another upset or 2 or 3. This is a good test. I know Georgia Tech is not ranked currently, but would not be surprised to see them back in the rankings here this season.
Leah Francom, Coach Wargo Kearney says that she is one of the best natural blockers, just has a natural knack for that blocking capability. And there she is tracking down Mambu for the stuff.
So out of the timeout, they've cut it to 5. Yellow Jackets played coming out about as well as they can play. That's how they played pretty much all 3 sets in Winston-Salem on Friday night. Big point here, back spinning dig from Velez. We'll try Mambu again on the left side. Francom gets a touch to it. Villar directing traffic, finds Vondren, goes soft out of the back row. Chance for Georgia Tech. It's Despeño with the kill.
Pena doing a nice job from the right side after Mambu kind of got shut down on the outside a couple plays. Now they're trying to diversify that offense, get another look, and it's the freshman right side stepping into that right side role. As we mentioned, she's normally comfortable on the outside, but filling in shoes due to injuries.
Great start for Deandra Pierce. That's her third kill. She joins Mambu at the mark.
We saw her really get active to start this set for Georgia Tech, and now they're able to find her again as the passing, that first contact has gotten better, allows you to set up that quick middle set.
Free ball. Look at Georgia Tech. Out of system, doesn't matter. Timeout, NC State. Cut it to 5. Smith goes off the high hands. Off the block, Despaño. Back-to-back kills around the timeout. I didn't have enough buzz for the brass. You got to be able to buzz, right? Appropriate today with Georgia Tech in town. So they said, yeah, you can't play trumpet.
Not enough buzz.
Stick with the clarinet, bud. Deep serve and out. NC State utilizing 2 liberos here in this first set. Sydney Daniels along with Zuzia Maciejewicz. Net was shaking. That was the ball that jostled the net.
This is what you get. Great pass to be able to get your middle in. A beautiful route there. Great timing between setter and middle. That's experience on display.
Georgia Tech continuing to serve deep. Bryant.
Courtney Bryant trying to work her way around the high hands. Courtney Bryant does such a great job with her shot selection, her range. She finds points in different ways.
She is the NC State leader both on the season and today in terms of kills. Just over 200 on the year. Wolfpack cut the Georgia Tech lead to a touchdown here. Yellow Jackets football were right down the road. They were in the triangle yesterday. Got a win in Durham over Duke. Tip from Mambu, that'll work.
Mambu got blocked a couple times. Now she's trying to get creative, finding that open spot, the donut in the court, going for that open area. Also just a tough angle to keep that ball in. Nice move by Mambu.
Samaya Dorsey has come in. Got the start on Friday. Alyssa Ferrelli setting. So NC State head coach Megan Wargo-Kearney making some adjustments here. See if they can, obviously, look, you're trying to win the set, but if nothing else, get some momentum towards the next. Looks like the Yellow Jackets on their way to taking this first set, and it's been that way since the jump. Ferrelli coming off a career best 9 assists on Friday night, and she picks up one here to her middle.
Lily Cropper doing a nice job of getting involved offensively. This is something, if NC State wants to come back in this or win the next or win this match, they're going to need to get their middles involved like that, not just blocking, but offensively.
An easy put away for Rebecca Ring. We'll see if that gets her going.
Rebecca Ring, one of those freshmen for the Wolfpack that has really stepped up.
Yeah, has kind of had an ascension, much like Anya Fyodorovic of Georgia Tech. Ring actually had a streak of 5 straight double-digit kills matches. Came up 1 short in the win against Clemson. So we're essentially talking about 2 freshman outsides with 6 straight. That ball stayed up. And a heads-up play by Suarez. Put it deep into the court. That ball was in the plane of the net. Playable by Pierce. Now we have a net call. And it is Fyodorovic who's whistled for it. Now she's protesting. And we could get a challenge here because she's shaking her head. Yeah, Coach Collier saying, you know, not going to challenge, but yeah, that's...
Yeah, her right arm.
A good non-challenge.
Yep.
A block came straight down off Pierce. And NC State has again
Lily
picked up some momentum.
And Courtney Bryant doing a nice job of guarding that net, giving their back row a little break with the big wall in the middle, tracking that back row attack. And now you have one of your best servers, or the best server on your team, back at that service line, something that NC State did so well against Wake Forest in their win over Wake Forest last week. Aggressive serving.
Georgia Tech needed a point. They go to Pierce on the slide. And that's been there all set. 5 kills in the first for Deandra Pierce. And Georgia Tech takes the first set. Got off to a... On Friday night, Clemson took the first set and at times looked dominant. I would say not as dominant as Georgia Tech looked in the first, but with that being said, NC State really found another gear in the second set and took the match from there. We'll see if they're able to once again step on the trampoline, if you will, and really exceed their first set level. Gonna have to have a chance against the Georgia Tech squad that we saw in the first set.
Yeah, and they did a nice, NC State did a nice job of slowing down Georgia Tech to be able to close that gap, added a couple of those blocks, brought Georgia Tech's hitting percentage down, try to make them not as efficient. NC State will need to do that quick in set 2.
Suarez meets Francom's tip. Velez slides over. Good dig. And Despaño picks up yet another kill. Really made her impact towards the second half of the first set. She now has 5 kills.
And yes, I do feel like we've been talking about her a lot, but Georgia Tech's offense has been very balanced. They have their middle getting going, their outside, their right side. They've been finding different ways to attack this NC State defense.
And just like their win in Winston-Salem, miscommunication here. Just like their win in Winston-Salem, to this point, they've only played 8 players. But as you said, very balanced, although this, one of the rare miscues. Just getting tangled up together, Suarez and Mapu. Another one. Match high 6 kills for Noemi Despaño.
Despaño, that was a great swing, but you only get that swing with a great pass from Fyodorovic, and that is a tough serve coming from Sydney Daniels. That's a very tough floater, but Georgia Tech handling the serve receive nicely, able to get off a strong attack.
That is NC State in system, and Georgia Tech Mambu does such a nice job. And we saw her soloed up a couple of times in the first set and still getting blocks.
Now it was all by herself there on the outside. A nice wipe on the block to push that ball down. Wow. Courtney Bryant, a great cross cut. That's a nice thumbs down play when you just turn your shoulders and you bring that thumb down to have that ball curve, hit that open area deep on that left back side.
Deandra Pierce.
I felt like that should have been louder than it actually was, but it looked amazing. Just look at the height, the reach, able to get her full approach. Beautiful timing between her and her setter. Pierce shutting it down.
Pierce and the Yellow Jackets have been fun to watch so far. That ball got stuck in the scoreboard. We're going to replay the point, and Fjodorovic celebrates. So the ball is playable if it comes off the scoreboard, which can happen from time to time. It's pretty high. It's something like 50 feet above court level, but there is a little gap between the actual video board and the underside of that ring, the fascia. And if you're wondering, is that volleyball just gone forever? No.
That's the black hole up there.
They don't do it very often, but they can lower that scoreboard.
Okay.
And when they do, NC State obviously practices in this gym also. When they do, they usually find a few volleyballs in. I can't say I've ever seen that in a match, though. Got to hit it just right. So Georgia Tech gets the replay.
A nice shutdown by Mambu. She does a nice job of tracking that slide that we're seeing from Lily Cropper right there. It's a great transition and read from Mambu.
So Forelli back in setting for NC State. They keep it up. Forelli with the attack, and Georgia Tech, where this is very reminiscent of what we saw in set one.
Georgia Tech just not slowing down. NC State unable to take away some of that heat from this Georgia Tech offense.
I mean, got an overpass and a free swing for Forelli. That's a ball that you just expect to be down. Put a good swing on it. It's just Yellow Jackets playing defense.
Cropper doing a nice job of getting involved. They're going to need to get their middles going if they want to try to close this gap again.
Tough serving for NC State. And Courtney Bryant earns the point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to have to be a balanced offense. It's going to have to be middles involved. All hands on deck. Because again, you look at Georgia Tech, all right, 3-4 in the league, 8-8 overall. Yeah. And what's going on? This is not their usual level. Yep. Well, if you look at who they've played, you say this team again is going to be just fine. Yes, they lost to SMU and Pitt in 4. North Carolina is still unbeaten, lost to Carolina in 4 as well, and swept by a Miami team that is very strong. Those are 4 ranked teams, so their ACC losses, yeah, they have 4 of them so far, but as you mentioned, they've kind of been through the gauntlet, and you're going to have stretches in this league where you play weekend after weekend, you know, really tough stretch. I'm not saying they're completely through it, but they are through some of the tougher portion of their schedule. And yeah, you still have Louisville, you still have Stanford, but yeah, their RPI quite healthy. And I think is only going to get better. And despite the adversity, this is every bit another NCAA tournament team.
And you look at they've been growing consistently throughout the season too, so they're not even at their best, right? They're dealing with the uncontrollables, the injuries, 12 newcomers still trying to grow together. So they could peak at the right time after going through the gauntlet of their ACC slate.
Now, it's easy for me to say, look at the RPI, look at the talent,
right.
You're going to be fine. I know, talking to Coach Collier, she said, I don't handle losing very well. Like, this has not been the most fun stretch of being 8-8. Because it's just something they are not used to.
Also not used to the inconsistency as well. They used to know what their lineup was going to be, and now she says, every day we've got like 7 different lineups in our head.
And that's where these two teams very similar. Some injuries, and that's when you really have to coach and say, you know what, Amanda has the hot hand today, or
right.
At least was good in practice, but in the first set, if you're not having your best day, we're going to switch things up. I think those can be some of the most difficult, but also sometimes some of the most rewarding years as a coach. Because, like you say, if you just have your everyday lineup full of veterans that are healthy, that's what you hope for. But you say, hey, go out there and play, and you don't have a lot of as obviously you're making X's and O's adjustments,
right.
But you're not making as many personnel adjustments. Georgia Tech played 8 on Friday, played 8 so far today. They haven't had to make many adjustments because of the way they played so far. NC State trying to change that, and Talia Francom can be a difference maker at the net.
Yeah, they're going to be keying in on Pierce as she's been able to pop off here in set 1 and leading into here in set 2. They're going to need to quiet her down.
That's a great set. Eloise Suarez feeds Feodorovich.
And that's just it with this Georgia Tech team. You silence one hitter on one pin, and then you go to the other pin, and you're able to pick up a kill here from this freshman who's been making things happen this season for Georgia Tech early on. Talked about 6 straight matches with 10 kills. She's adding on today.
Francom knew where to go with it. An overpass score.
Nice job by Bianca Garibaldi from the middle to pit transfer for this Georgia Tech team, making an impact.
Yellow Jackets first to 15. An immediate timeout. Action between these two players from Poland. Zuzia Maciejewicz, the libero for NC State. And we've seen Ania Feodorovich, who continues to have a hot hand for Georgia Tech. Know each other well, played together on the Polish U21 national team in the World Championships this summer. So that is pretty cool to play for your country in the World Championships. And then across the pond in the ACC, you meet as opponents.
That's such a high level of volleyball that you're seeing too when you compete against international talent as well, and that's something that Georgia Tech is known for, having so many international players. A lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different styles of play coming together for Georgia Tech.
Well, you mentioned the international players, and it's 14 total international players and coaches together, because you have 3 staff members as well. So an international roster, and Brazil is best represented. Coach Collier is one of 7 from Brazil, but out of the other 7 players, that 6 different countries represented an international roster, and volleyball truly a global game.
Well, and that's something that really entices some of these players to come play too, because they know that that's something that Coach Collier looks for. She likes that different style, different backgrounds coming together and playing at this level. And I think that's one of the reasons for the transfer for Bianca Garibaldi from Argentina coming over, because she saw how much international talent was on this team.
Nice dig from Vondren of NC State. It's tight, and Ferrelli, who can be a difference maker, and again has come on strong as of late. She's played in 5 straight matches, and that's what she can do. More size at the setting position. Seeing her confidence grow for this team. Off of her block attempt and out, point Yellow Jackets. You're talking about the international roster too. You can create pipelines. We can say it's a global game, but it is, to use the punt, like it's a small world, right?
Right.
And these players know each other from playing in their home country. So, for instance, you have a player from Brazil, Argentina. You might in a couple of years get more recruits because they see the success that you have at a program like Georgia Tech. Great placement from Rebecca Rain. Court vision on point.
It's so fun hearing about Rebecca Ring and her relationship with Courtney Bryant. Coach Wargo Kearney saying that Courtney Bryant really took her under her wing, and they've really bonded and talked and analyzed the game really well together. And it's not a bad person to look up to in Courtney Bryant.
Great disguise from Suarez. First time we've seen her do that in this match. And it puts the Yellow Jackets up 6.
Well, Coach Collier says that Suarez has this newfound confidence, a little swag to her game now, because this is the first year she's really owned the 5-1 position as the main setter in this lineup. And she is taking full advantage of her time on the court.
And great to see her healthy, missed 19 matches due to injury last year, and yet that does give you confidence when you know, hey, I'm running the show.
It's mine. I own this position. That's what Coach Collier said. She doesn't have someone breathing down her neck trying to fight for her position, yet she still stays self-motivated.
Villar serves for the Wolfpack. Just does sneak through the block of Dorsey and Francom.
Yadorovic, the outside, slips through that block.
Now 5 kills for Fyodorovic. This is tight. Dorsey had to use the left hand. Get another opportunity. And there's the block. Bianca Garibaldi. And we have not called her name a lot, the Pitt transfer in this match for her blocks at the net, but she is their top blocker on this team, and she shows it there. Timeout.
Top 10 in the 8th.
No errors, hit 800. Hasn't been quite as good today. 8 kills on 11 swings. I mean, unbelievable. She has been outstanding on both sides, offense, defense. So 16 kills on 21 swings with no errors on the weekend. That is production. Fyodorovic with no touch. Vondren serves. The effort there, but no stopping the Yellow Jacket attack. Pilar and Maciejewicz doing everything they could to keep it up.
Well, Zuzia Maciejewicz she attacks volleyball like it's a profession, right? That's something that she has done when she was in Poland and does something she does here as well. Just really treats the game as a pro. And Coach Wargo Kearney saying sometimes she has to remind Maciejewicz to have fun a little bit. You know, it's okay if you want to dance pregame. It's okay if you want to have fun with your teammates. You're a student athlete too. You're not just here. This isn't just your only job.
We want to train hard. We want to win, but also it is supposed to be fun. Set point, Georgia Tech. Mambu off the high hands. Best swing of the afternoon for Samaya Dorsey, and that's what she can bring to NC State.
And that's what happened when NC State had to go back into this 5-1. Instead of that 6-2, you lose one of your right side hitters. So you've got a battle between Dorsey and Rebecca Ring for those swings.
It's Despaño, and we'll head to intermission with Georgia Tech leading 2-0. They won the first 25-8. NC State going to start with Forelli setting. It doesn't matter who's setting if you have to come that far for the initial pass. Good serve for Georgia Tech to start. And that's long. First couple of sets we've seen, if you're just tuning in, 25-18, 25-19. Georgia Tech has gotten to a 6, 7, 10-point lead in the early portions of both sets so far.
And that's something that Coach Wargo Kearney for NC State has talked to us about, saying we need to get off to faster starts. That's something we've struggled with. And they actually have talked to a sports psychologist to talk about how do we get in the right mindset so we can come out with some fire.
It's promising that this NC State team has had a number of comeback wins so far this year.
But it'd be nice to just start out,
right.
Start out fast.
Right. It's good to know you have that capability, but they'd prefer to start fast. And, you know, we did not have Coach MWK and Megan Wargo Kearney, mic'd up during that intermission. But I have to think that they talked about in some level, hey, look, those sets got away from us early. And not that you're taking, moral victories out of those sets, but after the first, say, 15, 20 points, they have played Georgia Tech even or better. It's just been digging too big of a hole early on. And I have to think that was a point of emphasis. They have to start this set off better, or else it will be a Yellow Jacket sweep. An ace.
That's the first one of the afternoon. And that was a big difference when you look back to last week when NC State lost to Wake Forest, then came back and beat Wake Forest. Coach Wargo Kearney said we wanted to get more aggressive from the service line. That's something they'll put on display right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. That is a wild stat. First couple of sets, no aces. Doesn't mean we haven't seen good serving and extreme service pressure, but yeah, that is kind of a statistical anomaly. First ace here in set 3. Francom running the slide, but misses line.
And it's interesting, we talked about the injuries for NC State. They had this other setter from UCLA come in, Ashley Mullen. She goes out with injury, so now Villar takes over, so they have to run a 5-1. So your middles have to do that slide route, something they said they always practice, but now you got to do it in a game.
That is a big-time swing from Rebecca Ring.
So much pop, so much rip to what she's able to do, and that time slicing through the block.
And we mentioned with Mendez being out, obviously a big loss for Georgia Tech because they haven't had her in the month of October, and she's an all ACC caliber player. That's a big loss. We might see a challenge here. We will from Coach Collier. But for NC State, when you're running that 6-2, how disruptive that can be just when they felt like Ashley Mullen was really playing well. And she's in concussion protocol. She's missed 6 matches now. And so that has been a big change for this team. They've handled it pretty well, all things considered.
Tech is challenging. The ball was in.
All right, original call out. Georgia Tech challenging. Said that was in. See, catch any part of that line. I don't think there's enough to overturn there.
I agree.
The original call is confirmed. Georgia Tech will lose their challenge.
And that's kind of a bigger call, right? That could have been a momentum shift right now. You're knotted up early on, something you haven't been able to do against Georgia Tech in the first 2 sets. NC State kind of able to take back momentum right here.
Short serve. The serve to Mambu. You mentioned earlier, Amanda, the balance. And it has felt like wherever Suarez has gone, they've gotten production.
In NC State, you're trying to take away somebody, but right when you do,
Right.
just another head of the monster comes out.
And that's tough when everybody's having a good match. Everybody's having a good afternoon, feeling good. That's what leads to, in part, hitting over 500 in set 2. No touch. Well, talking balanced attack in this match and a balanced attack on the season. And yeah, Mendez a big loss, but again, they have options. We have not seen Groom today, but when she has played, has been an impact player. That'll work for Frankham.
I think it's so important for NC State to take advantage of every one of these opportunities. That's almost a freebie, especially if you're someone like Frankham who can get up, a 6'5" freshman there in the middle, and throw it down.
Oh, that is too good. Perfect set, perfect put away.
Such a nice cut there. That's a thumbs down play, right? You're turning your body, you're bringing your hand over to curve that ball, slicing right through the 2 defenders.
Mambu in the double figures kills, has 11 for the 7th time this season. Tough serve from Sydney Daniels. Excellent left hand by Bialeski. She has to again scramble to keep it up, but does. Great point. Wolfpack.
What a rally. The Yellow Jackets doing a nice job of keeping that ball alive, but it's NC State. Credit to the Wolfpack for staying up, and that's Vondren.
Feodorovich able to side out even off less than ideal conditions. Suarez gives her a chance. That's in. And the junior from Columbus, Ohio, making an impact here in set 3.
Yeah, a bright spot right now for the Wolfpack. Didn't get a lot of playing time past couple years, and now she comes out here. 17 matches played, 11 starts now. She was able to start today in that 0-2 position.
That set is so good. Eloise Suarez.
Suarez doing a nice job of really putting her hitters in the best possible position. That's a good swing there, just stuffing the block. Feodorovich able to just push it through the wall.
I mean, all your momentum's going towards the band. You have to contort. That is an athletic play. Well, easier this time, same result. Georgia Tech point. That setter-hitter connection is evident.
Yeah, not a lot of hang time. It's perfect when you're releasing that ball. You want to kind of be on that second step of your approach, and they are in sync.
Touch. And Feodorovich, again, has the double-figure streak up to at USF.
And as an outside, you know, you're a 6-rotation player, so she has familiarity with everywhere on the court and does a nice job of coaching her teams that we've seen, you know, a dozen years at Georgia Tech, and their consistency in the tournament and their success. That's why we talked about this season has kind of been a challenge for her, setting those expectations so high and still trying to meet that standard.
Was named Conference USA Player of the Decade for the conference. That's down off the NC State block. And it was a better start for the Wolfpack, but Georgia Tech has started to create some distance here.
They've separated themselves with the attack, obviously being able to fight through the block. NC State unable to get down some shutdown plays. 0 blocks for the Wolfpack here in set 3.
Pretty good attack from that spot. Bianca Garibaldi mostly been back row, right? Has not gotten a lot of swings today, but is top 10. You mentioned the blocking, also top 10 in the league in the hitting percentage. So when she does get those swings, she knows what to do. Hitting .370 on the year, picks up that kill. Up 5, make it 6. No stopping to Spanio.
Again, this is a freshman who normally plays outside but got moved to this right side and has really stepped into that position. Look at her sizing up that pin, finding the opening lane, line drive for the kill.
Looks comfortable.
Yep.
Over there on the right side. Well, tried to go back row. Haven't seen a lot of that this afternoon, but Cropper was ready.
Welcome back to the party, Lily Cropper. We talked so much about her and her blocking capabilities, her offensive production on Friday night, and now she's able to step back in here and try to build some momentum for the Wolfpack.
Great decision by Velez. Got to be sure. And that one was close.
Those floaters, they can just drop right there on the line, even if it is over your head.
And a rare misfire from Mampu. And NC State gets away with being out of system. Wow. Rebecca Ring terminates.
Again, you get that in-system swing, and that's what you get. You get a fiery play that can spark some life into this NC State.
A lot of deep-fried options.
We talked about the lack of service aces this afternoon, and that is credit to the amazing serve receive we have seen. Credit to Velez, an amazing pass to allow for a tempo set. What a response for Georgia Tech. They side out quick.
Pierce now with 9 kills. Mampu another one. She leads all attackers with 12 now. But the balance continues to be there. 12 for Mampu, 11 for Dispanio, 9 for Pierce and Fyodorovic.
In all different positions, right? They're able to, their setter is able to really just dial it up for everybody.
They've got a chance, if this continues, to have 4 players in double figures in a 3-setter. Again, if this continues. You just don't see that.
To be able to rely on so many different weapons, right? You don't have to have the one star.
I mean, Suarez is nearing 40 assists. Again, we haven't played 3 sets. And speaking of double figures, Pierce joins that club. Still no errors, hitting 714. Have a weekend. Fyodorovic joins the club. She's got 10 for this 7th straight match. All right, you're missing Mendez. Got some other players out too, but the players that are out there are performing. Vondren has shown off that cut a couple of times.
And she's someone who's really stepped up this season, kind of being her big season for her to step up and get those reps, get those swings from the outside. Coach Margo Kearney saying earlier this season that, you know, Vondren has seen a lot of growth throughout this year. They brought her in as a string bean, is what she said, and they really built her up, and now she's got a lot of power to her attack, and we're seeing that earn her play time this season.
Might be the best swing of this match for Anya Fyodorovic.
Basically a wide open seam there, and Fyodorovic doing a nice job of being able to take advantage of that hole.
Vondren with an answer.
Bondren has such a nice, crisp approach and brings it down with such power. He's able to try to read that Georgia Tech block. Fedorovich has done it in so many different ways today. We've seen that power in the play before. We love that little pop that she has, but that time just pushing it through the block.
Both outsides going point for point. Garibaldi in the front row.
It's a great serve receive as well to be able to set up that quick set to Garibaldi. Again, Georgia Tech doing a nice job of handling NC State's aggressive serving.
You mentioned the quick set. You got a great look there in slow-mo of just that, how fast that set was. Did not clear the net by much. Fedorovich has accelerated here in the last handful of points and gives Georgia Tech match point. Double-double for the freshman. Garibaldi ends it, and Georgia Tech has a perfect weekend. 2 wins in 6 total sets. And once again, their offense firing.